Hey everyone, my name is Eric Murphy and I'm a local academic advisor at a community college in the state of Indiana. Um, what we'll be discussing today is reimagining campus student check-in experience. So to move on, I want to start with just a quick little, quote from Sean Garrity. The technology you use impresses no one. The experience you create with it is everything. So we got to ask ourselves, what do we mean by that? And when we talk about in the world of higher academics, we're not exactly just looking to be the best improvisation. At the end of the day, it's all about how are we developing a strong student experience? And that's what we'll lead in today. So where are we at right now? So a bit of a backstory before we dive in right now. Our advising staff has been split up into multiple buildings. We have both Johnson Hall and McDaniel Hall. I am the one and sole survivor at McDaniel Hall right now. This is great because I'm around all the students that I advise for, but we do not have a front desk representation in the form of an administrative assistant. Now, how would this cause an issue, you ask? With check-ins and creating student appointments, this is kind of done away with that front door representation that will act as a guiding force for students. Students are consistently lost when entering McDaniel Hall for appointments. There is no front desk receptionist to check in or make an appointments. And then also this brings a loss of representation to our, building that Johnson Hall has had for many years that we do not currently have. Um, and because of this, it provides a lack of structure and professionalism for meeting with students. That's something that I, as an advisor, always try and uphold, and that's something that I feel is an integrity check we should never let go of. So, where do we want to look to the future? What is the idea behind all of this? So, within this presentation, I'm looking to develop a streamlined autonomous check-in system for students to enhance our customer service capabilities. This in turn will help bring cohesion and structure to our appointment systems that will provide the student body with ease of access in the future. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can interpret this. There's a lot of ways that we can try and improve or expand or, even, in certain times where we might not be able to afford a receptionist, we can look to different options. Now, how will we do this? Uh, I have developed an autonomous check-in system through the form of QR code. Now, in the world of today, most of our student body has cell phones, and most of them, being young students straight out of high school, are used to the QR code check-in system. We see them in our everyday life in restaurants, libraries, for even, concert tickets. It is the future. And this is something that we haven't really shown on campus with representation of this futuristic capability. Now, with this, I didn't just develop a code. I wanted to expand it and put it all around campus so we can create kind of a universal ecosystem here. So on the door of our office suite, where my office is posted at, there'll be one there for our check-ins. The QR code will then place a student into a queuing system. Now, within the queuing system, it'll allow structured steps for students when arriving for walk-in or scheduled appointments. So by using this QR system, the student now walks in, they scan, all they do is put their name in, and then it'll provide them with instructions on where to go sit, and I will come in the system. This breaks that barrier and in a way bridges the gaps to where now there's cohesion again. And we've done it all without having to place in that step as we look towards the future here. Now, moving on, how can we expand upon this? Because this is a good idea, but how can we build this even more? So we didn't just develop a QR code system for check-ins. We also developed a QR code system for student appointments as well. This QR code that you are looking at specifically is one that I have posted in every single classroom within our McDaniel Hall building, even above water fountains and even in a couple of the urinals. But I will say that it is something that has, in a way, revolutionized our student experience. Many students have told me that it's great. They no longer have to get on their computer and go through their student portal. Now, as they're walking in the building, they can take a screenshot, and now they have an appointment with me in less than 20 seconds. So this has essentially cut out 2 to 3 steps of barriers that will help the student experience develop into something extremely positive that I hope we can not only build on, but we can make it a staple across every other campus statewide. Now, why should we do this? We understand, it's ease of access. Technology-wise, it makes sense. But why should we do this as an advising group? The reason behind this is because of the noble mission. Now, what the noble mission is it acts as a guiding force as to kind of our why. Why do we do what we do? As an advisor working in higher academia, I will say that my why, and this stems from my public school service as a teacher, is because we want to help students get to where they need to be and where they want to be in life. And to do this, you have to be adaptable. You have to be the glue that can help them in any situation, no matter what. And in my way, that is my why. So when I see students struggling because they're not able to meet with an advisor, they're not able to, schedule their classes because of this, and in turn, that does affect retention. That is my why. So this is something just small that we can do to help the student experience grow and expand. Now, student testimonials. Now, for obvious reasons, I could not list student names, but here is just, I'll leave it up and I'll kind of discuss in the background if you read through. Overall, the student experience in our soft rollout has been positive. The student body has loved it. Like I said, it's been a quick implementation within my team, being me, and then obviously the Dean of Multidisciplinary Studies. Was a very rapid, quick development and then quick implementation. And with this, we've seen huge success rate from the student body already, and just looking to maneuver this over to the other side of campus, actually, as multiple advisors have already adopted this system. So now, what's the cost, Eric? What is behind this? The cost of it is zero. So, as a former teacher, I always found ways to do the nicest thing with the cheapest cost. Now, but how is this $0, Eric, you may ask? So, utilizing free Canva QR code development, we were able to then attach that to a queuing system from a third-party website. And we were just utilizing materials and everything that we had around. So this was a great implementation that me and then our Dean of Multidisciplinary Studies was able to kind of coordinate and find the best path. Now, I will say this, because it's free, we did have to go through a third-party website for the queuing system. Now that leads into security assurance. So we know the positives and how great this is, and to a certain extent, there really are no negatives. But it does bring up a question. Are there any security issues with this QR code system? Now, naturally, there are two. The student appointment system QR code, that one is streamlined into the scheduled appointment website. So there's no issue there. The only issue would be the check-in system. Now, to counteract this, we are only asking for the student's name. Now, why are we only doing that, you ask? Due to FERPA concerns, we cannot have a leak, or we cannot place any student data that is private, such as a student ID, phone number, maybe even an address. We cannot have that leak to a third-party website. So with this, we are only asking for a student's first name. This kind of will allow a kind of section and a row, even if there are multiple students waiting, so I can come out and place them in the correct order, and then we'll handle business later, if not a already scheduled appointment. So this is something that I have kind of worked with our IT department and kind of picked their brain. And this was the overall outcome that we came to, and with student safety in mind, because that also acts as our noble mission. Now, let's discuss the Agile process and how this is developed through Agile. Now, when we talk about Agile methodology is a project management approach that emphasizes flexibility, collaboration, and development in projects. Now, this is all done through, rapid progression while also maintaining the boundaries of bureaucracy. We overall have done that, although on a small team to make it easier as opposed to much larger teams. We were able to develop the plan, implement the plan, and then fix it up as we go along. As we've already done our soft rollout, and we're looking to do our major rollout before the beginning of fall. We did hit a snag though, as we did overstep a couple of bureaucratic processes with our facilities team. We had an issue between thumbtacks and sticky tacks, which drove the whole campus into a stir. But we did stick to the bureaucratic process as much as possible while maintaining a sharp, agile pace. Now, what is the timeline to success? When we're looking at this, I see this as a 2-week process. Week 1, we are already in. This just entails soft rollout of our QR code system for appointments. We are going to then place QR codes for the appointment scheduling in our staff mailboxes and their designated classrooms. This has already been taken care of. We'll send out guidance for the new plan implementation if fully developed. We'll send it out to the entire student body along with an instructional how-to, so students are also aware. So that way they're not just seeing it, walking down the hallway. We really need to push out communication with the student body to ensure cohesion. And then also follow up on any questions that staff may have. I understand that, most staff may not have much experience with the QR code system. Because of that, there's going to be questions, and that's my job. My job is to help advise. My job is to help develop students and the student experience. So that is something that, I relish and look forward to. Week 2 is kind of where things get, a little, it shifts in dynamic. Of course, with the mass student outreach, we'll also have a check-in, kind of like a secondary student outreach, to see if there are any questions now that we are implementing this new plan. This could even be, week 3 or 4 down the line if we so choose to. And then really also following up with staff. We'd be maneuvering from implementing to now damage control, if any, to ensure that, one, our QR code system is working. We also get feedback from staff and students more than we've already had, as it'll be on a much larger scale now that we're going from a small group of summer school students to fall, which is when everybody will be showing back up. So there'll be much more strain on the QR code check-in system, and we'll just need to see how it's flowing at that point to maintain accuracy. Now, the 3 key takeaways I want you to take away is 1, students are provided with a structured autonomous check-in system that will bridge that gap that we are so desperately missing at our building that our other buildings may have. Two, it will provide better cohesion and rapport with the student body. My communication with students is something I take desperately serious because if they don't know who to talk to, my job is failing. So, building a good rapport, ensuring they're in the loop, and ensuring that they are always able to check in, create an appointment, and ensure that they are always safe is something that I personally take pride in. And last, the cost is free. So in the future, if we try and take this more large scale, we could look at pricing options. But for right now, with the size of our student body being a D3 campus, this system would work flawlessly. So with that, the cost is something that we need to look at and essentially relish in. Um, Now, with this, I do want to throw out some quick references, and I also want to thank our Dean of Multidisciplinary Studies, who has really been a helping hand throughout this process, along with the Agile landscape. I do appreciate each and every one of you for watching my video, and I hope there's feedback and that you enjoy the video. So thank you, and you have a wonderful day.